Hey guys, today is August the 27th of 2022, Saturday, and I wanted to do a market recap. I'm going to be doing some more videos today, exclusively on the instruments by themselves, but this is kind of more like a wrap of the ones I've been following. I call this a YouTube, and there's some things that I added. So without any further delay, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the dollar. You guys remember the last video I posted? I was eyeing $113. I think we got one more push up higher. That's a target. This is trend line that I'm watching. It's in blue. And you got the value area high of 108. This is the weekly chart with 6 months. So everything is still intact to the upside. We got a MACD crossover. On the weekly, on the daily, you got a crossover to the downside. So you can see the linear regression channel is acting as a resistance here. So this is going to be a tough battle to try to take out 109. But when it does, the next thing is to test that trend line, which is like 110. And if we close above there, these are woody pivots I have. My target is 113. So let's see how that plays out. I figure we go to the euro. You can see that it got a nice flush and we got a new low this week. And MACD crossover negative. Value area low is 99 on the daily. And it looks like we have a MACD crossover now. Got a nice, like a little pop, but I think there's more downside. There's a possible target of 96 here. So it's still bearish. Just got a little relief here. Linear regression channels are pointing down. Everything is pointing down. Everything's negative. The only thing positive here is that the MACD just had a crossover, but I think there's going to be more downside. Intel is one of the tech stocks that I have here in this list that I'm following, is the cycles are bottoming out on the weekly, and I'm very interested in purchasing at the right price Intel, knowing that it's just a matter of time when China decides to invade Taiwan. It's gonna happen, and just a matter of time. And the chip industry, with Biden, supplying money to that sector. I see there's a lot of things that's going to benefit Intel, and Intel is the cheapest one from all the ones I've seen, and it's the the dog in the list. So I'm looking at, I have a target of 28, which is somewhere around here. There's no indicator showing that. That's just a proprietary technique I use of GAN. $28 will be my good entry point if it gets there. If it goes lower, even better. There's the 75%, which is at 26, but 28 is the one I'm eyeing. So I just wanted to show you, very negative, as all the other chip industry stocks. This is just probably the worst one. Let's go to UEC. You can see the UEC's chopping. You guys know the news of Japan restarting their nuclear reactor program and all that, which we've been hearing that news for a long time, but I guess it's triggered some of the algos and stuff like that. But the good thing is that UEC is out of the cloud, so that is positive. You see support here is at 381. And it's out of the cloud on the daily channel, on the daily chart. The linear regression channels are pointing up. That's good. While the weeklies are pointing down. We do have a PPS sell signal, but the volatility was last week. And we got, decent volume, which is nice. And MACD positive signal. The daily is still positive. But the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, kind of got negative. So it's hanging in there. As long as we don't close below 381, things, are looking good to the upside. DNN, same thing. Point of control is $1.20. And you can see that it's above $1.15. So this is a key level to watch. Linear regression channels are pointing up. The value area high is at 127. So if we could close above that and above this 200 simple moving average and this key level right here, 140, then things looking good. But the good thing, like I said, it's above the cloud on the daily chart. On the weekly, so, you know, short term, looking good, you know. Midterm, which is the weekly, you're below the cloud and below the 20 and the 50. So volume is good, you know. So these kind of apply all, you know, UEC, DNN, all the same price action. This is Cameco. We hit the value area high of 27.86 and, you know, kind of pulled back. You see it right here. Good thing is that we're above the cloud, but we're far away from the cloud. You see how far away it is from the DNN and UEC. I got a couple of trend lines here. It's a little more clustered here in my chart, but the linear regression is pointing down. And what's good about Cameco is that on the weekly, it's above the cloud. So it's in a little stronger position. Same thing, volume strong last week. MACD positive on the daily and on the weekly. Just looks like Friday was a little weaker. Hive got a sell signal. We couldn't even go as high as 7. Or maybe, yeah, 7 and change. So midterm still negative. Point of control is at 448. And now on the daily, we're back in, you know, we're penetrating the cloud now. We broke a good support level, which is that 518. Now it's at 433. And there's a value area low right here, 380, 308, and 285. Finding support at the 50 SMA. So let's see how that goes. But the linear regression is pointing up, but it's got a nice little sell-off. And that's due to the fact that Bitcoin got a sell-off also. I figure I just go straight to, before I go there, let's see indicators. The MACD hasn't turned negative yet. The last 2 weeks have been negative on Hive, and, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday have been negative. We did get a MACD sell signal somewhere around the 16th of August, and it's just been going on. So there's going to be a lot of support over here if it ever gets down there. But so far the 50 is holding it. So if we find support here and bounce off that $4 range, then possibly could get another leg up. But, you know, that remains to be seen. Figure we go straight to Bitcoin since we're doing Hive. Value area low, 1824. Got a weekly sell signal. Broke right through, broke right through the point of control, which is at 2147. And we haven't had a MACD crossover yet, but the last 2 weeks have been very negative, and Friday was very negative. You can see that volume spike. And we're below the cloud on the daily and on the weekly, so that's not looking good either. We got as high as like 25 around there, maybe 24, 25, and this was going to be resistance, 25.49. We never got to get up to that level, but there's going to be support here by the linear regression channel, and if it pushes even lower than 19, which is the value area low, could be possible support. Let's go to Ethereum real quick. You see the Ethereum, we got a sell signal on the weekly, no MACD crossover yet. Volume has been a little light on the selling on here, but you know, Friday was very nasty with Ethereum. And we hit the value area high of 2017 in the cloud. I always said when your price action's in the cloud, it gets volatile and it gets wild. So you have to be very careful. Sometimes if you put your stops too close, it gets you out of the game. But that's kind of the risk you have to play when you're in the cloud. Once you get out of the cloud, it's better. But once you're in the cloud, it gets nasty. Support 1547, and this support level right here, 1503. You got the 50 SMA down here, 1462. So if it's going to push Monday and Tuesday, which that looks like the case with this pressure building up, hopefully it finds support down here and then maybe makes a leg higher, but that also remains to be seen. We'll go to SMR. SMR looks pretty healthy above the cloud on the weekly and the daily, though we have a MACD crossover and the volume has been very negative. I'm using Heikin-Ashi candles, so that's why you kind of see it weird. But it's kind of telling me you're kind of still in the trend, but things looks like they're about to change, so you got to be cautious. Last week volume was negative. This is the Japan news restart. And we got a sell signal Friday, PPS, but still in the trend. So, it's kind of tricky. Above the cloud, above, chopping around the 20, above the value area high, around 14, or kind of below it now that it's closed. So this is going to be your support level. You can see it with the cloud, the 50 SMA, and the linear regression channel right here. If it ever pushes down there, next week, it's going to be a good support area right here. MACD crossover volume, not as bad, the sell-off on Friday. AppHarvest. Sell-off signal on the weekly, below the cloud, still negative. Below the mobile bands, value area low is at 279. Hopefully that holds. And very negative on the weekly. And on the daily, you're below the cloud again. So short term is very bearish. And the volume sell-off wasn't that strong, as you can see, compared to the other stocks I've been showing you. But there's a trend line here that if we ever push lower, let's see if that would hold. But the linear regressions are pointing down and on the weekly, so this stock still looks negative with the markets and all that, with the overall market. We'll go to crude oil, and you can see that linear regression channels are pointing down. You're chopping around the 50 SMA, and looks like we have a buy signal on the MACD. Volume was pretty good last week. And the daily, you're below the cloud, just kind of chopping around here. Point of control is 96, and we almost kissed it. Linear regression channels are pointing down. And, the MACD hasn't turned negative. So I won't be surprised if maybe this thing maybe starts pushing even higher and maybe test that 97, that 50 SMA. And if we could close above it, possibly maybe test that 104. But it looks like it's trying to find support on the weekly. So keep our eye on that for a possible bounce maybe into next week. Gold has turned negative. Seasonalities. Thinking about doing a gold video next by itself. Seasonality was showing that September, around the first week of September, it starts, getting toppy. And we haven't even gotten to September, and we already have a weekly sell signal on the weekly. So, and we're already August 27th. So, it could potentially push higher next week. I don't know. That remains all to be seen. So we just got to see if that's going to play out. And on the daily, you're below the cloud. So this level, 1781, is going to be very, very strong. You're below the 20, the 50 SMA. You have value area low 1750. So let's see if that holds. If that can't hold, you got the linear regression channel around here around 729. And I think that's it. And the 200, which is 1670, but hopefully it doesn't go that far down. We don't have a sell signal on the MACD, but we do have it on the daily. And the last 2 weeks, that volume has been very negative, and Friday was very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to even push this even lower Monday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. HG, you can see that value area low is 366, pretty much negative. The only thing here I see that's positive is that it's still holding the point of control, which is $3.64. If we could get a close above 385, the things will start looking better, which would be somewhere around the 20 SMA or close to it. And then the next thing would be to get to the 50 SMA in this linear regression channel right here. But we do have a buy signal, and we got a MACD positive. Last week volume was good, although on the weekly, on the daily right here, we have a sell, but the trend is still up, and you're above the 20 in the cloud, but it's going to get wild and choppy here, so we have to see. But I could see, you know, some momentum to the upside now that it's kind of building. So 382 resistance, especially 385. Silver, same thing as gold, negative. Everything is pointing down. Support, value area low 1821 in this linear regression channel, which is like that 18 and change. If it could hold, Friday's volume was very negative, and the last 2 weeks have been very negative on silver. Natural gas, you can see that it's trending higher, above the cloud on the daily and the weekly. You got MACD positive. The last 3 weeks have been positive in regards to volume. Last week was a little, you know, weaker. And we had the value area high. You had a Tom D Mark 9th candle around the 22nd, and it's just kind of inside. Volume has been very, very light. It's already at 10, but you know, it's pretty strong. I need to look at it more to see if there's any key levels of resistance up here, but so far it's looking good. Despite we do have a sell signal on the MACD that hasn't turned positive yet. It was very choppy here. As long as we could stay above or close 1965, right now is 932. And this is a value right at 965. We could close up there next week. I could see this pointing and going higher. I think that's it for all the stocks I wanted to cover. Is anything I need to go back? I think that's it. I don't want to make this video too long, but those are my thoughts using the simple glance, the simple chart, where I have the weekly and the daily, and I can just see, you know, the overall trend. I'll be posting another video today, maybe like in the afternoon, once I get back to my hotel, and just kind of give you my thoughts on maybe I'll tackle gold. This is a popular instrument, and just kind of see where we at there. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thought. GW Price and Time Technical Analysis.